A video clip has been brought.
Sorry, my lord. My colleague, Advocate Mnisi, went out to his chambers since we had a meeting this morning with the judges. He was not robbed when he arrived this morning.
So he's gone to chambers to go and rope?
To go and rope and get his material.
Find us on the way. Yes. We shall tell him what the learned prosecutor says.
As a court, please, my lord, after yesterday's proceedings,
Yes.
a video clip has been brought to the state's attention, which in our submission, my lord, might amount to contempt of court in facie curiae. And, we just seek guidance of the court. We're ready to play the clip here that shows one of the accused making certain gestures to the witness whilst he was testifying. And, we just seek the court's guidance as whether this court prepared to watch the clip and that an inquiry be made regarding that possible charge of contempt of court in facie curiae.
Who brought the video into your attention?
Yes.
Somebody brought it to your attention?
Yes, the investigating team. Yes.
Oh, the investigating team?
Yes. It's a clip of this camera, my lord, that captured one of the accused making gestures to this witness while he was testifying.
Yeah, and okay, we have to view it because
yes.
I can't determine without seeing it whether there's a contempt of court.
As a court pleases.
Have you advised Mr. Nisi what is happening?
Bafethu-ke umshushisi akwazisa inkantolo ukuthi ngaphambili kokuthi ufakazi abizwe ikhona-ke ividiyo abayibonile-ke ithimba leli liphenye icala abamkhombise yona-ke leyo video. Ukhona omunye wabasolwa akhona akwenzayo kuyena ofakazayo manje. Ithi inkantolo ngaphambi kokuthi ngathatha isinqumo ngayo leyo video leyo kufanele iqale ibone sala ukuthi yini leyo elapho kuleyo video.
Yeah, okay, let's see the video. Because remember how the press should behave. You remember that order we made?
Yes. Yes.
Regarding reportage, the press, what shouldn't happen, what should happen, etc.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see whether it contravenes any of that order. Yeah, I can see.
Yes. Maybe it can be played again.
Yes, start it from the beginning. Which accused is that?
It's accused number 5, my lord.
Accused number 5?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the end of the video?
Yes, it's just those gestures that have been made, my lord.
Yeah. Accused number 5. Do you see yourself there?
Mr. Ntuli, uyabuza ujaji ukuthi uyayibona lapha kuleyo video. Yes, I do, my lord.
What were you intending to convey to the witness?
Bekuyini le bekuyisifiso sakho sokuthi uyindlulisele?
Objection, my lord. My lord, the accused is represented.
Ms. Mshololo? Just sit down. I have seen the video and I am asking the accused. You will make your representation thereafter. Now you want to make the representations before you have even heard me. Is that what you're saying?
As the court
Which
business.
procedure is that? Yes, sir. What were you intending to convey or what are you conveying? If at all you're conveying anything.
Uma ukuthi khona okushoyo okudlulisayo yini lokudlulisa noma bekuyisifiso sakho sokuthi undlulise?
Hayi ukuthi ngisakhumbuza ukuthi ngikhuluma ngoba lo muntu okhuluma ngayo shera banombono nje.
I can't even remember what it is that I was talking about because the person that is being referred to, my lord, is seated here as the witness is pointing and the prosecutor is obscuring the view. I can't even see that person.
My question is simple. What were you intending to convey, if at all? I'm not talking whether you see the witness or what. I'm looking at that clip, and I see you're making facial gestures and expressions. Just want to understand, what were you intending to convey to whoever? I never spoke about the witness.
Inkantolo ithi ayikhulumanga ngofakazi nokuthi bekubanike noma uma kuukuthi kukhona lokho kukusho bekuyini noma lokho kuhlose ukuthi ukusho uthi akakhulumanga ngofakazi uthi ukhuluma nje ngalokho akubonake la ku video ujudge.
Hayi angisakhumbuli ukukhuluma ngokumele sixoxa.
I can't remember what it is that we're talking about because there is a lot that we are discussing, pointing to where they are seated.
Yes, Mr. Msholo.
Ungahlala.
Any submissions regarding what is happening in the clip about your client?
Thank you, my lord. I have consulted with Mr. Ntuli regarding this clip, my lord. The problem we had firstly is that there are no utterances that we could hear from the video clip.
Have you heard of sign language? It's now official. It's an official language, sign language. Right, you heard me. So?
Yes, and then when I was asking him as to what was he doing, the Mr. Ntuli, my lord, denies that he was referring to the witness when he was speaking with the gesture depicted in the video clip. As you can see, my lord, that he was speaking next to number 4, who was next to him, not that he was speaking to the witness.
Okay, fine. Mr. Baloy?
As a court, please, my lord, from the clip it can be seen that there's a gesture of a pulling of a trigger, and to me, my lord, that is very serious.
He says he was just speaking.
Yes. At this stage, my lord, we just request the court to bring it to the attention of all the accused that interfering with any witnesses might amount to contempt of court in facie curiae, and that they should desist from such conduct.
Okay.
Yes. And I can refer the court to this handbook by Snyman Criminal Law, 7th edition.
Just read that for us.
At page 287.
You must interpret for the accused.
Inkantolo isenikeza ke ithuba ummeli wakho Mr. Ntuli uthi ke ukhulume nina khuluma ke nababili waphika ke wena ukuthi nje kukhona lokho ukukusho noma ubhekisa ke kuyena ufakazi ola enkantolo ubukhuluma kodwa ke nalo oseduzo kwakho accused number 4. Umshushisi ke uma senikezwe ithuba nayo uyaphendula ke uthi kuyabonakala lapha ngiyaqhubeka ukuthi ke kukhona la utshengisa khona noma ke wenza uphawu khona ke lokudonsa noma lokuphula itrigger uthi into ayibonile ke lo umshushisi usecela inkantolo ke manje ukuthi ikhiphe isixwayiso kubo bonke abasolwa ukuthi ukuphazamisana nofakazi efakaza lana ke ukuthi inkantolo ifanele inaziseke ukuthi lokho kungenzani noma kunamiphumela yini.
Yes, Mr. Baloy.
The court, please, my lord, says the handbook of Snyman Criminal Law, 7th edition, where the learned author discusses contempt of court, and he defines it as follows. Contempt of court consists in unlawfully and intentionally violating the dignity, repute, or authority of a judicial body or a judicial officer in his judicial capacity, and he then discusses the various forms of contempt of court, both outside and in court. And when he discusses contempt of court in facie curiae, that is inside court, he mentions the following examples: interfering with witnesses or presiding officer. He says X commits contempt of court if he improperly influences or attempts to influence a judge, magistrate, assessor, party to a case, complainant or accused, and in this instance, witness, interpreter, or legal representative in a case, in the decision he has to make in the case, the evidence he has to give, this is our instance, or generally the way in which he has to conduct himself during the trial. The act may take the form of intimidating the person concerned, and this we submit, my lord, is on all fours with what we, the clip that we have just shown. As indicated, my lord, at this stage, we're not going to insist on a formal inquiry. We just want the court to admonish all the accused that such conduct might fall foul of the law and constitute contempt of court in Fakikura.
Fine, Mr. Rapelesi, before you, Ramasipidi, sorry, any comment as an officer of this court about the strictures of the law which Mr. Balui has read for us? Any comment?
As the court pleases, my lord, I was also made aware before we came to chambers, my lord, and upon our return, I did also speak to accused number 1 and 2 about the required conduct in court, my lord, as the court pleases.
Mr. Mnisi?
As it is the court, my lord, it is indeed so that trial should take place in an open and fair environment that is free from intimidation. However, in the context of the case, it does sometimes happen that flares temper. What do they call it now? Yes, flares temper or tempers flares. I think we should just request the accused people to refrain from doing that, because that affects the quality in which the witnesses will be giving their testimony. And vice versa, witnesses should also, if there are any witnesses, they should also be cautioned not to do or say something that would affect the emotions of the accused. Thank you very much. And I'm very grateful to the state, the manner in which it approached this matter. Thank you.
Mr. Mano?
My lord, it was also brought to me this morning. I have also raised it with my client that they should, respect the decorum of the court. That is far I can take it. Thank you.
Ms. Mcholo, want to add?
Thank you, my lord. Just very few submissions, my lord. I also appreciate, my lord, what has been brought to the attention of this court, especially a reference to the Sneyman criminal law, what is contained there regarding the behavior in which we should behave, including our clients, as well as the witnesses in this court. However, my lord, I would also like to put it on record that if the state was serious and aware of what has been brought to the attention of this court, this ought to have been brought first time when Mr. Tumelo insulted at our clients, and the state did not do anything. So I appreciate what is being done now, so that the witnesses also, they will be told that they are not allowed to insult at our clients. As much as our clients also are not supposed to behave in any manner, the witnesses too should be warned for the same. And also, my lord, lastly, to say, regarding the actions when they are sitting in the witness at the box, maybe we need to get a clarity there whether they should not make any actions, something like that, my lord.
If you want to question, you can go.
Thank you, my lord.
No problem.
Thank
Let me
you.
tell you, I've got 50 years experience in
Thank you,
criminal law. And I'm just generally telling you this. I know all the tricks. I can tell you, I saw those gestures when the witness who did a turnabout under cross-examination by Mr.
The other day.
Yes, I was watching. I just kept quiet.
Thank you, my lord.
If you want to confirm this, you can ask the JP. I brought it to the attention of the JP. So I'm saying bad, please.
Thank you, my lord.
I'm not.
Those were
Not this judge.
Indeed, my lord, we are indebted to the court generally, and unfortunately, my lord, for some of us, we don't have eyes at the back,
Yeah,
so
no,
we
I
just
know.
focused
No, I'm
here.
just saying I noticed it.
Okay.
I noticed it. You must know that.
Inkantolo iseyinikeza bonke ke abameli benu ithuba ke ukuthi baphefumuleke emuva kokuthi umshushisi esefundile ukuthi umthetho uthinike ngendlela yokuyiphatha enkantolo yabasolwa abamangalelwa abofakazi kukhulunyiwe futhi njengabo bonke abantu basebenza enkantolo ngizwile kukhulunywa futhi nangaye uToleka so indlela nje yomuntu wonke ukuthi ayiphathe enkantolo bathi ke banemeke ngalokho ukuthi kulethiwe kodwa ke wabesengeza basho abameli benu ukuthi bakhulumile nani ukuthi ke kufanele kwenziweni ke enkantolo wasengeza ke uadvocate Mshololo ukuthi ke nabofakazi bayacela kunabo ukuthi ke babe nendlela ke yokukhulumisana nabamangalelwa enkantolo uma bekukuthi banikeze ngobufakazi babo. Okunye kongezile futhi ujaji ke ukuthi nangaleli yalanga ke kwakunomunye umfakazi wayekhona lana uma ngaphosisike ngicabanga ukuthi kukhulunywa ngayo ukuthelezi ukuthi wabona ke nangalelo langa futhi ukuthi kukhona kwenziwe kodwa wathatha nje isinqumo sokuthi uzothula ngeke uthi uyafuna nje nikwazi lokho ukuthi wabona nangalelo langa kufakaza ukuthelezi ukuthi kukhona kwakwenziwe ngathi ukuthelezi eseshintsha ke kwinkulumo yakhe.
Okay, thanks. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, Mr. Badoi.
As a court, please, my lord, we can also confirm that what the court has remarked now regarding the other witness, Mr. Buthelezi, that was also brought to our attention.
No, I saw it.
Hence, we felt that that the accused should be admonished about such conduct.
I saw it. I just kept quiet. That's why I mentioned it. Okay, Mr. Baloi, let's start. As requested by the state, my lord, we just request that the accused be admonished and be made aware that such conduct will in future perhaps might attract sanctions.
The contempt of court process.
Yeah, all the accused are warned to desist. Disturbing the decorum of this court whilst witnesses were giving evidence. No gestures should be directed at the witnesses.
Bayaxwayiswa bonke abasola ukuthi ngathi ke ofakazi noma ofakazi benikeza ngobufakazi kungabikho ke abakwenzayo ukuphazamisana nofakazi nkathi ethula ubufakazi bakhe enkantolo.
I read the case for all the accused counsels. R versus Hepworth of 1928, which says a criminal case is not a joke. Not a joke. Serious matter.
Kunecala ke la ngo-1928 ka-Hepworth ebengilifundele bonke abameli benu ke ukuthi ke enkantolo akusiyona ke indawo la kwenziwa khona ke amahlaya.
Okay.
Serious court.
So you're warned accordingly.
Nexwayiswa ke.
Yes, Mr. Badoi.
As a court, please, my lord, the witness can come in.
Yeah, you still under oath, sir?
Usengaphansi kwaso isifungo busithathe izolo baba.
Yebo.
Understood, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Badoi.
As a court, please, yesterday when we adjourned, you were still telling the court about the photos of the accused that you've received. You can continue from there.
Izolo ke uma sesiqedela ke sekuphele isikhathi ke ubusakhuluma ngazo ke ithombe zabasola owayithola noma owayitholile usungaqhubeka ke usuka khona lapho.
You will still explain as to how you received those photos.
Ubusachaza ukuthi ithombe lezo wayithola kanjani.
Ithombe engangiyitholile ngayithola kwifoni ka Gwabini.
The photos that I received them from Gwabini's phone. I then sent them to my phone.
And when was that?
Kwakunini lokho?
Noma ngakhumbula i-date kodwa kwakwesikhathi sidibene eThembisa.
Although I can't remember the date, but it was at the time when we had met in Tembisa.
Which year, more or less?
Kuphi unyaka? 2019.
Did you take any action as a result of those photos? Did you do anything with them?
Kukhona owakwenza ngazo lezo zithombe lezo. Yes.
Yes. And which accused are you referring to here?
Ibaphi abasola khuluma ngabo la?
Accused number 1 and number 2.
Accused number 1 and number 2. So la uqala kanye nowesibili.
Yes, and what did you do with those photos?
Waye wenzani ke ngalezo zithombe lezo?
Ngayikhipha iphone yami ngo general iPhone ukuyibona.
I then downloaded them and took them from my phone because the general wanted to see them.
Which general?
Muphi general?
General
Lishabani.
Yes.
Yebo. Singaqhubeka.
Yes. Yes. What did you do with those photos?
Waye wenzani ngalezo zithombe?
You say you downloaded them. What did you do?
Then ngayibonisa yena.
And then showed him the pictures.
Who?
Ubani?
General
Lishabani.
Okay. And can you just explain what was the purpose of showing him the pictures?
Awusho nje kwakuyini ke inhloso yokumtshengisa ithombe lezo?
ayifuna ukubona abasolwa izithombeni ukuthi laba abasolwa khuluma ngabo.
He wanted to see the suspects in pictures as to which suspect was I talking about.
And just lastly, Mr. Zungu, you mentioned that you did partake in some alcohol on the particular evening. What was the state of your sobriety?
Ushilo ke ukuthi nani noma wawuphuza ngaleli langa leliyana ke ngathi isimo sakho ke njengoba wawuphuzileke wawukusiphi isimo?
Ngiphuzile kodwa ngangaphuzanga dawa.
I think that I had consumed some alcohol, but not to, but I wasn't drunk.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Is that it? Yes, Mr. Ramusepedi.
As the court pleases, my lord, I thought Mr. Malvin was going to be.
You thought what?
He was going to be a bit long, so I didn't set up my conditions. Now, sir, you testified that at some stage when you were at Foslora's Hostel, you were asked to move your car out of the way because you had parked somebody in. You did that, and in the process, you removed a bag. You removed a bag from your car, put your service pistol in it, and the car keys, and then you went inside Guaveni's place, correct?
Ubufakazi bakho ushilo ke ukuthi la owuphake khona awuphake ukuthi ukhona ke lo owumvalele wasuhamba ke lapho kuyosusa imoto leyo wakhipha khona ke ibag ya isikhwama sakho isibhamu sakho sasemsebenzini wase ubuyela ngaphakathi kokwabini.
Yebo.
Yes.
And further that, you then gave Gwabeni the bag containing the firearm, the service pistol, and the car keys for him to store it for you, correct?
Wase uma songena ngaphakathi ke wanikeza yena ke uGwabini isikhwama leso ke esasinesibhamu sakho kanye nekhiya zemoto ukuthi ayibambe.
Isibhamu sabesikimi, ibag yayibuye amnikeza lethi isibhamu.
The firearm was with me. He had the bag, and then I later on gave him the firearm.
Okay. So, just for clarity's sake, that firearm, when you give it to him, Did he place it in that bag that we also gave him, or he stored it separately away from the bag?
Uma usumnikeza isibhamu leso ke ingaba wasithatha isibhamu wasifaka kusona isikhwama lesi ubumnikeze sona kuqala noma wabeka isibhamu kwenye ihlangothi wasebeka isibhamu kwenye ihlangothi?
Ngabeka isikhwama kuqala, isibhamu sabakini isikhathi eside sahleli.
Okay, I first placed the bag there, and then for the longer time the firearm was in my possession. Yebo.
Okay.
But eventually you gave him the firearm to stay for you.
When we started drinking, I then left the firearm with him.
But what I want to get to is that firearm, was it placed in the very same bag that you gave him that had your car keys?
Manje engifuna ukwazi kuwena ukuthi angithi manje isikhwama bese sikuyena vele. Uma usumnikeza isibhamu ke manje ngabe usithathile isibhamu wasifaka kulesi isikhwama bese sikuyena vele noma wasibeka nje kwe?
Angiboni ukuthi mhlawumbe wasifaka ku bag noma kuthiwa wasifaka ngabe wasifaka kodwa ngamnikeza isibhamu esayidini.
I don't think that he placed the firearm in the bag. If it is so, then he must have done that on his own. But I gave the firearm to him aside.
Now, just give me the setting of, because I want to understand the context of that area where you were at. Gwabeni's room, the common use area that is inclusive of the kitchen. Can you describe that for me so that I've got an idea of what was happening? Because you said there was partying, there was drinking, there was ingoma, a dance and meat and all of that.
Kona konke ke lokushilo ukuthi gidwa ke kwakudliwa inyama kwakuphuzwa konke lokho sengifuna nje ukwazi ke uma ungachaza le ndawo le inanihlezi kuyona ke ukuthi ile ndawo le inanihlezi kuyona usihlanganisa ukuthi uyindawo ekanjani.
Njoba ngishilo ukuthi ihostel leyindawo enespace esivulekile for abantu bonke. Ikamero eli lomuntu likaGwabi njengalo liqonda le nayo le ndawo hall.
As I've said, that the hostel is an open space and a bigger space for everyone, and then Gwabeni's bedroom is facing the halls. In other words, when you're at the hall, you're facing Gwabeni's bedroom.
And from there, because you had a firearm that was stored that you had to keep an eye on because there was lots of movement, and that's a state pistol. How far were you seated from Gwabeni's room in relation to that common area, the kitchen, so that you can observe perhaps somebody going into Gwabeni's room?
Nanjengoba ke kwakuyisibhamu somsebenzi lesi sibhamu sombuso kwaye futhi ke ufuneke ke kwafanele ukuthi usiqaphile la ohlezi khona ke wawukude kangakanani ke nekamera leliyana likaGwabeni la ukuthi isibhamu noma ungakwazi ukuthi ubone.
Njoba ngangihleli la mangifika sifika ngasaphuza ngabeshiya isibhamu fike sahlala saxoxa bephuzo ngaleso sikhathi abanye bebephuza.
Okay, ngizebamba lapha. Where I was seated, it was not a matter of as we arrived or as I arrived we started drinking. We sat down, we had some conversation, others were drinking. Yebo.
Emva kwalokho ngathi mangiphuma ngoba lokho ngibuze ngibeka isibhamu sami ngangibalekela ukuthi mangiphuma naso ngoba sasikile kwangenzeka umuntu afika asidonse aphume naso.
Now
ngakho ngabona ngoba sesiphuzile manje nochama kungenzeka kube khona osidonsayo.
Now when I went out, the reason why I decided to leave the firearm on my way out, I was thinking that maybe because now we had already started drinking, when I went out to relieve myself or to urinate, someone might pull it. Hence I decided to leave it.
And when you hand the firearm, stress that, I'll come to that. Tell me about illumination in that area, the kitchen area plus Gwabeni's room at the time.
La enanihlezi khona kanye nekamera lelana kwaGwabeni ke awusho ukuthi ukhanya kwakukanjani ukhanya.
Njoba ngangihleli ngibheka umnyango kaGwabini sho ngangibona yonke into eyenzakalayo wonke umuntu ongena ekamereni kaGwabini uphuma khona uwenza lokho wonke kwakwenza ekamereni kaGwabini ngangubona ingakho ngangihleli la.
Hence I was seated where I was seated. I was in a position to see everything that was happening in Gwabeni's bedroom. Anyone was going out, was going into the bedroom, coming out of it. I was in a position to see everything happening in that bedroom.
Yes, but I'm talking about illumination, where the lights in the area in that common use area.
La inanhlezi khona sengikhuluma manje ke ngama lights ukuthi kwakhanya yini kwakunama lights ayekhona yini. Obviously there were lights.
And when you hand the firearm to Gwabini, was it in its holster or did you give him the bare firearm?
Ngathi umnikeza uGwabini umnikeza isibhamu leso sikwi holster noma wamnikeza nje sona sisodwa?
Ngamnikeza sona sisodwa.
The bare firearm.
Did Gwabini have a safe to store a firearm for you?
Ingaba wayene safe yini uGwabini ukuthi angagcinela isibhamu?
Isiqinisekiso salokho anginaso kodwa ngamnikeza ukuthi akwazi ukuyikhipha endlini yakhe ngoba kwakhiyekile futhi kwakungene nongangena ngenye access ngaphandle kokuthangele la kanile phambili.
Uthe awuyazi wena no yeke but awazi ukuthi wayene safe. Yes, about the safe I have no knowledge about the safe, but what I know is that the bedroom was locked. There was no other access, so anyone who wanted to enter that bedroom I had to go through that door.
And did he show you exactly where he stored the firearm for you?
Ingabe wakhombisa yini la isibhamu asithathe wasibeka khona?
Akamtshengisanga kodwa ngangazi ukuthi sisendlini ngoba bangenawo drop.
He didn't show me, but I knew that it was in the house because there was no wardrobe.
Now, as a police officer, you were trained in firearms, safekeeping, storage, and the like, correct?
Nanjengephoyisa aka ngithi wakuthola uqeqeshwa kokuphatha isibhamu, kokukhipha, kokugcina isibhamu si-safe nokustore.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you also knew that it's a criminal offense for somebody to store a firearm for you when it's not stored in a safe, strong room or other device in terms of the Firearms Control Act when the firearm is not in your possession.
As a court, please, my lord, we object to that kind of, or at least the witness should be warned that there's no obligation on him to answer any question that might incriminate him.
Yes, you say the witness is immune from self-incrimination because he's got rights in terms of Section 35
yes,
of the Constitution.
Yes.
So you're obliged to warn him best.
Yes, he did so
that he can exercise his rights to silence if he wants to. Or he can answer you after you told him, no problem.
Okay, sir. Now, let me withdraw that question and ask it again. I'm going to ask you a question that may perhaps lend you into a problem with the law.
Angiqala lana ke ngithi ngizobuza umbuzo osengakufaka noma ongenzeka ukuthi ungakufaka enkingeni emthethweni.
And in terms of Section 35(3)(d), I mean 35 generally, not specific sections, you've got the right to remain silent, you've got the right to have a lawyer of your own choice.
Please. The Act doesn't say that.
Yeah.
He's not arrested.
Oh, let me leave that. Okay, all right, let me leave that. You've got the right not to answer a question that incriminates you. If you don't want to comment, you cannot comment. If you can, you may.
Lo mbuzo ke kuwena ke ukuthi uphenduleke uma ubona ukuthi cha awufuni ukuthi noma akusiyona ke inhloso yakho ukuthi uphendule ungashoke kanjalo.
I was giving him the warrant officers. Sorry about that. So, just this question. It's not a lot of questions that deals with incrimination. Just this one. And the question is this.
Sorry, what is his answer about the warning?
Kulesixwayiso osinikezwayo uthini?
Yasizwa.
Hear it, mother.
So can I pose the question to you, then you decide whether you want to answer it or you remain silent?
I'll decide once you have asked the question.
No, could you decide before you answer the question?
Umehluleka ucela ukuthi udecide manje ke ngaphambi kokuthi ubuze umbuzo.
If umbuzo ubhekisa kimi ngicela ungawuphendula.
If it's a question directed at me, I'm asking not to answer it.
I respect that. Now, did Gwabini possess a license in order for him to store that firearm for you?
Ingabe uGwabeni wayenelicense yini emnikeza ke imvume noma igunya lokuthi loso sibambe leso akubambele noma agcinele sona?
Angazi, angicabanga ukuthi nayo.
I don't know. I don't think he has it.
Now, you testified that at some stage you left that area to go to Top's bottle store to buy alcohol when you went to the
Naya eTops niyothenga khona ke utshwala. Ingabe uma usuhamba noma senihamba niya eTops wahamba yini wayosikhipa isibhamu ngoba angithi vele kufanele sibe kuwena?
Ukuphendula lapho ngesikhathi ngihamba ngeTops isibhamu sasisekiwe.
When I went to Tops, the firearm was still with me.
And now let's move on because of the Section 35 notices, questions. I'll move on away from them. Now your testimony is that at Gwabini's place, and to use your exact word, it was busy, it was fun, it was revelry, it was music, it was dance, it was food, and the like, and with lots of comings and goings, correct?
Ushilo ukuthi kuningi nje okwakwenzeka lapha kwaGwabini, kuningi nje kwakumnandi, kwakugidwa, kwakuyingoma nje, kwakudliwa inyama. Ushilo uthi kwakubhizi nje bephuma abanye bengena abanye. Yebo? Yes.
According to your estimation, and I'm not telling you to a number, how many people were there at that place, in that revelry party, whatever?
Uma usungaqagela nje ungathi babe bangaki abantu ababe lapha yana kuleya ndawo ngaleliya langa?
Ngikhona ukuqagela ngoba ngithi abantu babengena babephuma kodwa kwangabantu abaningi sazazana nabo abantu bangasekhaya abangena.
I wouldn't be able to guess or to estimate. As I said that people were coming in and going out, and it was a lot of people and people that we knew that were coming from back home where we are coming from.
And your testimony then becomes that around 9 p.m. you then observed or noticed accused number 1, 2, and 3. Is that 3? Coming back and from somewhere and going into Gwabini's room, correct?
Kushilo ke ukuthi ngaboma 9 yila ubone khona ke usolo oqala owesibili owesithathu bebuya ke la ababebuya khona base beyongena ekamereni lakhe uGwabini. Yebo? Yes.
And you say that your suspicion was aroused. What caused you to be suspicious of people coming back and all of that?
Kushilo ke ukuthi yila ose waba neinsolo khona ke yini ke eyabangela ukuthi ube neinsolo abantu bebuya la ababebuya khona?
Njoba ngishilo ngangihleli ngoba ngangazi ukuthi erumini kaGwabini kunesibhamu sami ingakho ngangihleli la ngibheke wonke umuntu ondlula eyakhona nophumayo nongenayo.
As I said that where I was seated, I was facing Gwabini's room and I was looking at each and every person that was going in and out of that bedroom. Yebo.
Ingakho ngakwazi ukubabona mabengena beya kulo leli camera. Ingakho futhi ngasukuma ngabalandela ngoba ngangazi ngesibhamu sami.
Hence then I was able to see them as they were going to that bedroom, and I then stood up and followed them, knowing very well that in that bedroom my firearm was there.
So in essence, are you telling me that the aim was to go and secure your firearm, correct?
Wena okwakusukumisa kwakuwukuthi nje uyoqinisekisa ukuthi isibhamu sakho sisecure.
Yebo ngoba bangena belandelana beya kuleli camera ingakho nami ngasukuma ngaya kulo.
Yes, because as they entered they were following each other and they went to that bedroom, hence I stood up and also went there.
And further, according to your testimony, is that you observed accused number 1 in possession of a .38 revolver. I'm not familiar with guns. Is it a .38 revolver?
Yes. Tuyasho ukuthi wambona ke number 1 yena ke ephethe i.38 revolver.
And another person in possession of a 9mm. Who was that?
Ubani lo owayephethe i9mm?
Accused number 3,
umsolo wesithathu.
Can you describe the 9mm that you observed?
Ungayichaza le 9mm owayibona?
njoba ngichazile ukuthi mhlambe isibhamu nolwazi lwaso ngeke ngikwazi ukuchaza ukuthi lesi yisiphi ngesikhathi esiside njoba ngisho ukuthi 9 mm i9 mm ne38 ihlukile ayifani.
Okay, as I said previously that I've got knowledge of firearms, but now because of the fact that it's been a long time since the incident occurred, but I could say that this was a 9 mm, this was a .38 revolver, and because the two firearms are not the same or they don't look the same. Yeah.
Yingakho ngithi wayiphethe 9 mm omunye phethe 38.
Hence I'm saying that he was in possession of a 9 mm and the other one was in possession of a .38.
But you can't tell us the make and model or the make of that 9 mm.
Yeah, make and again 9 mm ngichaza.
Ngeke ngikwazi ukuyichaza because ngangayithathanga ngayibheka kodwa ngayithatha nje kuye ngiyibuka ngabona ukuthi 9 le angifuna ngikwazi ukuthi yenziwe yini neRico or yipi company kodwa ngabuka nje ukuthi sibhamu na millimeter then enye 38.
I just looked at the firearm and I was able to see that it was a 9 mm, but as to whether it was a Norinco or what, I didn't inquire about that. I could see that this was a 9 mm and this was a .38.
And could you describe the .38 revolver that you saw?
Ungayichaza yona i.38 le owayibona.
Umehluko ku-38 ne-9 mm ukuthi 38 nesondo.
The difference between a 9 mm and a .38 is that the .38 has got a wheel
and 38 ayingenandlamu.
Yayingena. And the .38 had no bullet. Inhlamvu noma inhlamvu.
Oh, inhlamvu.
Okay, it had no bullets.
Okay. So in other words, the 9 mm was loaded.
Yeah, I loaded your 9 mm.
I was interested with 38.
Oh, okay.
Right. I didn't open the 9 mm. I was interested in the .38.
Okay. And your further testimony then is that you observe the same persons accused number 1 and 3 handing the said firearms to Gwabini, correct?
Uthi wase ubabona ke yena number 1 kanye no number 3 benikeza ngazo le ibhamu lezi benikeza uGwabini.
Yebo?
Yes.
And why, in your opinion, were they handing those firearms to Gwabini?
Ngovolo wakho kwakungani benikeza ngalezo ibhamu benikeza yena uGwabini?
Ingakho ngithi nami ingakho ngabuza ukuthi why bephethe izibhamu.
Hence I said that is the reason why I inquired. Why are they in possession of firearms?
And did you get a joy of a response from either of the gentlemen?
Ngabe waphendula yini ke kulo mbuzo wakho?
Ngokusho kwabo angibangisafuna ukuthi abangiphendule ngabe sengibathethisa nje.
As they said it, or as they mentioned it, I didn't even want to know further. I just scolded them.
Let's move on and deal with this aspect of the beginning of your evidence in chief yesterday. You testified that you know, is it all or some of the accused persons in court?
Umuqala unikeza ngokufakazi ke izolo ingabe uthe ubazi bonke abamangaleli noma basola laba noma wazi abathize kubona.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngalelo langa wonke umuntu ekhona noma athiwa ngangamazi noma ngangamkhumbuli kodwa bangikhumbuza bona.
I think that what I said is that on that day, even if I knew the person or I was in a position not to be able to remember the person, but they themselves reminded me.
Especially amagama abo.
Especially their names.
Just for contextual purpose, where are you, if it's a security concern, don't answer it. Where are you from KwaZulu-Natal?
Uma kuukuthi ke kunezathu zokuvikeleka usho ke ungawuphenduluke kodwa bengifisa nje ukwazi ukuthi eKZN ubuya kuphi nendawo.
Ngizocela ungakuphenduli.
Okay.
The question not to answer that.
And then let me do it this way. I don't want to risk your security at all.
Angisho nje kanjena akusiyona nje inhloso yami ukuthi ke ngabeka nje engcupheni ngempilo yakho noma isecurity yakho.
That area where you grew up from in KwaZulu-Natal, where you say you grew up, and I'll talk about accused number 1 and 2 only. Did you grow up in that area or as a young man until you came to work as a police officer in Johannesburg, or you moved early on from that area to come and stay in Johannesburg.
Lapho ke ngizothi kuwena la owakhulela khona ke ngiphinde futhi ukuthi akusona inhloso yami ukuthi ngibeke impilo yakho engiphenyi imali nala usuka khona. Ukhule khona ke isikakhulukazi ngikhulumela ke umsolo wokuqala kanye nowesibili ukuthi ke ukhule lapho kwaze kwafika kwisigaba ke la ekufanele manje usuzosebenza khona ke eGoli noma wahamba ke ngaphambili kokuthi usebenze ingxenye impilo yakho wazoyihlala la eGoli ngaphambi kokuthi usebenze.
Bengingahlali nabo.
I wasn't staying with them.
Bengiya khona ngoba kusekhaya ngasekhaya.
I would go there because it's my home.
And for example, when did you leave home? To come and work or study this side, whatever. What I want to find out is the gap that you last saw the persons that you say they were your neighbors. I may have forgotten their names. I was reintroduced to Infosloras.
Ngifuna nje ukwazi noma ukubheka isikhathi ukuthi kwaba isikhathi esingakanani noma igebe elingakanani ke ukuthi uhambe nini noma ukuthi weza ngala uzofunda noma uzosebenza. Manje ngifuna ubheka isikhathi ukuthi labantu laba othi wabakhunjuzwa uma sewuhlangana nabo ke eFosloras ukuthi kwakuyigebe elingakanani usungababoni la ukuthi kwakuwomakhelwane ekhaya.
Ngicabanga ukuthi akusona isikhathi eside ngoba angithi mawuhambile ngiya ekhaya ngiyavakasha ngama-holiday ngama-festive ngiyababona mangababonanga ngibabonanga kodwa akusikho ukuthi ngiyile ngohlala nabo no.
It was not for a long time because I would go home to go and visit during the festive season, and if I see them, I would see them, and if it is that I wouldn't see them then. But it's not to say that I would stay with them for a longer time.
I will, during the break, take instructions from both accused number 1 and 2 because they were waiting for you to finalize your evidence in chief so that they can give me instructions about this particular aspect. But let me put the other aspects that they've given me in respect to your testimony about their identification.
Lokho ke ngizothi mase siyakuthi break ke ngizozwa kubona ke ngoba belinde ukuthi nje uphothula ubufakazi bakho bazokwazi ke bangitsheleke noma ukuthi bathini ke bona kodwa ke angikutshela ukuthi bathini ke mayelana nokunye.
Hayi. Akangitshela.
Yes,
okay, you can tell
yes.
me.
I can tell you what they have told me in prior instructions. So remember, we got your statement 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So we are waiting for you to finalize your evidence in chief so that we can take further instructions. Now, accused one denies that he is your neighbor from home. I don't know where your home is for security reasons, but he says he's from Matlabatini.
Umsola umangalelo woqala ke uyaphika ukuthi umakhelwane wapheke umakhelwane wakho ekhaya noma emakhaya uthi ke kumele akazi ukuthi wena ubuya kuphi kodwa yena ke uthi ubuya emahlabathini umangalelo woqala
uyaphika unamanga.
Is he denying it? He's telling lies.
Ungasizana basekhaya mangisekhaya.
He's just further down when I'm at home. He's just further down my home.
Ubaba wakhe normally.
His father is normally.
He will also testify that he's not acquainted to you and he has never socialized with you.
Uthi ke futhi akajwayelananga nawe akakazi nje ahlale nawe ke kube mnandi kungebeleke nje ndawonye.
Vele bengaze ngihlale nabo. Anyway eGoli.
Yes, I've never been with them or socialized with them in Gauteng.
My Lord, if I may take instructions, otherwise we are going to have to seek for an adjournment so that we take proper instructions because it will be an up and down with raised hands and it won't be pretty.
What time is it?
It's just a minute after 11.
Okay, we come back at 11:30.
As the court pleases.
akasho ukuthi akakwazi ukwazi nje kodwa ke uma eqala ngawo ukubona ngo2019 uhamba noGwabini.
That question is ambiguous. The question is ambiguous. Not that he doesn't know you.
Sorry, my lord.
You say you saw him for the first time in 2019.
Let me put it this way, my lord. At first, my submission was that he accused one said he doesn't know you in total at all. Now he says, I do know you, or I saw you for the first time in 2019 in the company of somebody that I know who is Gwabini.
Fine.
Usho kanjalo. Uthi ngaphambilini ebethe akakwazi kodwa ke manje ke noma bekusho ummeli kodwa ke ummeli uthi cha ke emuva kokuthi ekhulumisene naye ke umsolo wokuqala uthi umsolo wokuqala cha akusuka ukuthi akakwazi uma eqala ukubona ngo2019 uhamba noGwabini.
Do you want to comment on that?
Ufuna ukusho lokho?
Ngizokubhekisa kuye accused number 1. Ngiyabonga ukuthi asho njalo bengisengithukile nami.
I'm going to say this direct to accused number 1. I'm grateful that he says that I was also now, I have been shocked.
Now, accused number 2, because I'll chop and change with respect to accused number 1 and 2, but accused number 2 himself says he doesn't know you in total. He just seen you here yesterday in court.
Umsolo wesibili ke na uthi akakwazi nje akakwazi kwanhlobo nje qala ukubona izolo la enkantolo.
Uyazi ukuba bekushiwo mhlambe accused number 3, accused number 4, number 5 bengavumelana nawe.
If that was said or was coming from accused number 3, 4 and 5, I would have agreed with you.
Ngokozalo mhlambe la engizalwa khona ngicabanga ukuthi ungakantanzi ugogwami ungakwantanzi.
Okay. From where I was born, or back home where I was born, he is from Tanzi. Sorry, he is from the Tanzi family, and my grandmother is from the Tanzi family.
Oh, I see.
So by birth, he is from the Tanzi family.
Have you met accused number 2, and where did you meet him?
Ukuhlangana kwakho nomsola wesibili nommangalelo wesibili wahlangana kuphi naye?
Mangithi sesikhulile mhlambe sesikwazi ukubona ngakukhumbuza eFalse Loras.
When now we are talking about at the stage where we're grown up, we are able to see now. I would then say in False Loras.
And in False Loras, you refer to the 26th of October 2014.
Umuntu eFalse Loras ukhuluma ngazo i-26 October 2014.
Yebo?
Yes.
Ezinye futhi ngeke ngambona ngaphambilini ekhaya. Kuyangimangaza mawethu akakwazi kodwa cha asingayikho.
But previously I've seen him back home, so it comes as a surprise to me when he says he doesn't know me, but let's not go there.
And both accused number 1 and 2 will deny that they were at Gwabini's place on the 26th of October 2014.
Bobabili ke bazophikisa ke ukuthi babekwa Gwabini nge-26 October ngo-2014 bayaphika lokho.
Kuphuka phejani lo.
That is just a lie.
Accused number 1 will state that in 2013 until March 2013, he was staying at Fosloras Hostel at Basotweni section, but when he lost employment in March 2013, he returned home and stayed home until he returned again to stay with his uncle in Tembisa in 2015.
Uyangitshela noma uyangibuza nto.
Is that the question or is that the statement?
I want you to comment on that.
Ngafisa ukuthi uphawule kulokho.
Ngeke ngazi ukuthi besebenza kuphi ulahleke nini umsebenzi asikaze sikuxoxa lokho.
I wouldn't know where he was working when he lost his employment. We have never discussed that.
The basis of that proposition to you is essentially this, that since March 2013, he's never returned to Johannesburg or Gauteng until 2015.
Just a moment. Uthi ke noma akushoyo kona konke lokho ukuthi kusukela ngoMarch ka2013 akakaze abuyele eGoli kwaze kwashaya u2015.
ngambona kodwa false lorus
I saw him in Phosphorus.
ngaba naye futhi ngaphuza naye beer yimi ngamdropa futhi
I was with him, drank beer with him, and I'm the one who dropped him.
Accused number 2 will state that at the time of the shooting incident of the deceased Senzo Meyiwa, he was employed at Sibanye Stillwater in Carltonville, and for that weekend he had obtained unpaid leave from the 27th of October 2014 to the 31st of October 2014,
27 October 2014 till.
the 31st of October 2014.
Uthi ke ngaleso sikhathi leso sokushona kwakhe noma ke sokushona kwakhe ke umufi uSenzo Meyiwa wala ngaleso sikhathi wayesebenza eSibanye Stillwater eCarltonville futhi ke wathola ke unpaid ke eyaqala nge-27 zika November October 2014 kwaze kwayoshaya i-31 zika October 2014.
And so comment if you want to comment.
Uma kuthi ke khona ungakusho lokho ungaphawula.
akukho engingakusho angazi ngomsebenzi wakhe eCarltonville kodwa engikwazi ukuthi ngambona nge-26
There's nothing I can say. I know nothing about his employment in Carltonville.
Sorry about
There's
that.
nothing that I can say. I know nothing about his employment, but what I do know is that I saw him on the 26th of October 2014.
And that when he knocked off from his morning shift on the 25th of October, he then embarked on his trip to go to Nongoma. Let me see, it's a difficult name. Kotlokolo, Nongoma, where he comes from.
Yeah.
So he was not in Gauteng that weekend of the 25, 26, 27 when this incident occurred.
Nokuthi ke wathi uma ephuma ke emsebenzini nge-25 zika October 2014 wabe ke esethatha uhambo oluya ke eKhotlokolo kwaNongoma. Akushoyo ke ukuthi nge-25, i-26, 27 kusho ukuthi ngalesa sikhathi ke isigameko bese senzeka ke wayengekho la eGoli yena.
nama
He's telling lies.
And I just want to go to these further instructions. And accused number 1 will deny that he at any stage. Wait. Sorry, my lord, let me take 1 second. Let me get it now. That's it, my lord, sorry. Accused number 1 will state that he has never attended your sister's wedding and that allegation is false.
Uthi ke umangalo wokuqala nomsolo wokuqala akakaze nje aye la bagwana khona ke usisi wakho ukuthi futhi leyo insolo lezo zingamanga.
And accused number 1 states that he only, like I said, he met you in Tembisa with Gwabeni. And you stated that you know accused number 1 because his father is normally, correct?
Uthi yena ke wahlangana nawe uhamba noGwabini angithi ushilo futhi umfakazi wathi ubaba wakhe uNomali.
ngicabanga ukuthi ke withdrawile lo mbuzo ukuthi asazana so ma
I thought you had withdrawn the question that we don't know each
it's
other.
fair. It's fair. Now let's move on to this aspect now, because I was moving from instruction to instruction. Now, with respect to accused number 1, he also says that version that he gave Gwabeni, a .38 special revolver firearm, is false.
Aphinde athi ke accused number 1 lokhu okukhulumile ukuthi wase enikeza uGwabini isibhamu esiyi.38 revolver kuwamanga lokho.
ngicela mhlambe indlela yokuyivikela kodwa ke iqiniso yalazi.
I think that's just a way of defending himself, but he knows the truth.
Further, accused number 2 also state that it's a falsehood that you saw him at Gwabini changing from a black hoodie to a grey hoodie.
Accused number 2 uthi ke nalokho ke kungamanga ukuthi wambona khona lapha kwaGwabini echange ihoodie emnyama wase efaka egrey.
Ngambona.
I saw him.
Uyakwazi mayilokho.
And he knows that as well.
Accused number 1 and 2 deny any involvement in the killing of the deceased, Senzo Meyiwa.
Accused number 1 no number 2 bayaphika nje ukuthi bona ke baba neqhaza ke ekubulaweni kwakhe umufi uSenzo Meyiwa.
Njengoba ngingasho ngathi angisho ukuthi ngababona bembulala.
As I've already said that I never saw them killing him, so yebo ngikho.
Ingakho ngangathanda ukuthi mhlambe ngibakhulumele amanga ngokuthi ngababona bembulala.
That is why I didn't want to tell lies or accusing them that I saw them killing him.
Now, if you want to comment, you'll comment. I want to give you the general evidence that's been led in this court, because you say you saw 1 and 3 with firearms respectively .38 and 9mm.
Ngizokunikeza ke ufakazi noma ingxenye yobufakazi eseyothuliwe ke phambi kwale nkantolo ngoba ushilo ubufakazi bakho ukuthi wabona u1 no3 bephethe i.38 kanye ne9mm.
Now, evidence led here is that 2 suspects entered the Khumalo household.
Ubufakazi ke obuphambi kwale nkantolo ukuthi ke kunabalisa ababili abangena emzini wakwaKhumalo.
Further, that the first suspect was shorter,
nokuthi ke owoqala umsolo wayemfushane,
dark-skinned,
edark ke ngebala,
big eyes,
enamehla amakhulu,
and dreadlocks whose length extended. They kept on saying this, I'm going to do that, extended to this level.
Nama dreadlocks ke ababethi mabewachaza bathi phela kule level nanje ngoba betshengisa ke ummeli indlela abachaba wachaze ngayo ama dreadlocks aloyo.
And that particular suspect was in possession of a firearm.
Nokuthi loyo msolo loyo ke wayephethe isibhamu.
Now, with respect to evidence led in this court, the second suspect was described as taller than the first one.
Ngobufakazi ke obsobethuliwe ke kule nkantolo ukuthi owesibili ke umsolo wayemude kulokuqala,
and his complexion was described as not too dark, not too light.
Bashilo kuma bemchaza ukuthi wayengekho dark wayengekho light futhi.
He was wearing a hoodie,
wayegqoke ihoodie,
and he was armed with a sharp object resembling a knife.
Nokuthi ke wayephethe ke isikhali ke esasifana ke nommese, sasisharp esasifana nommese. Kwakungathi ummese.
And furthermore, that the second suspect had a beard that was trimmed, and the reference was set an O-shaped. That means perhaps this, I don't know what O-shaped they said.
Bashilo ukuthi ke wayenale mustache ke indlela eyayitrinywe ngayo ke bebonisa ke O-shape.
And that he had, the people who live this part of a beard here on the lower lip.
Nokuthi ke wayeshiye nje la ngoba kunabantu ke uma besebeshave ke bashiya le ndawo la nokuthi wayeshiye le ndawo la
on the left.
On the left of a lip. So, do you want to comment about that with respect to your seeing 2 people in possession of a firearm? Do you want to comment in that context, or is something that you can comment on?
Kukhona yini office ukuthi ke uphawule khona?
Ngangiphawule ngakho ngangekho kaKhumalo.
I wouldn't comment about it. I wasn't at the Khumalo homestead.
You also testified that you partook in alcohol that night.
Yebo.
Yes.
And that you were drinking Jameson whiskey and tonic that's with ice.
Totally. Yes.
How many glasses of whiskey and tonic did you have that night?
Thoughts or glasses?
Sorry?
I say tots or glasses. People who drink whiskey, they talk about tots. Glasses called drink. No, look.
I've seen the tumbler being filled.
Glass is fine, but I'm just saying.
I've seen people dash it with Coke, fill it up.
They drink a glass of whiskey.
I don't
No,
drink.
fine.
I wouldn't know.
Double tots. Fine.
So were you drink? What quantity were you drinking of whiskey and tonic at the time, that night?
Wawuphuza kangakanani noma wawuphuza kangakanani yebo ngalelo langa ke noma uphuza ngani?
Sasingenayo mhlawumbe into esimeja ngayo. Sasiphuza nje sithela. Sasingenayo measurement. So ngeke ngikwazi ukuthi kuwe sasithela mhlawumbe 100 milliliter or 20. So
I wouldn't be able to tell you because we were not using anything to measure. We would just pour and drink, but we were not using anything to measure, whether it's 100 milliliter or 20.
But you were drinking from a glass.
But
correct?
naphuza ngeglass.
yes, sasiphuza ngeglass.
Yes, we were.
And then later on, alcohol ran out and a necessity arose to go and buy again, correct?
Base kuphela ke utshwala kwanesidingo ke sokuthi nihambe futhi niyothenga obunye.
Ngicabanga ukuthi uma beyothenga bangabi ukuthengelwa mina kodwa akuyothenga utshwala ngoba abantu baningi babefuna mhlawumbe utshwala. Omunye mayingenabo noma unye izoyithengela. Angicabanga ukuthi ngakuzobheka ukuthi wena wayeyothenga 10, wayeyothenga ama-black, wayeyothenga ama-Heineken.
I don't think that the buying was specifically for me because there were many people there, so I would not be in a position to look, why are you buying 10, why are you buying black? It was because there were many people there.
Oh, let me clarify, Perez. Specifically for you, the whiskey Jameson bottle that was brought by Makosonke, is that right?
Yebo?
Yes.
It hadn't run out. You had it from the time you arrived at Fosloras until you left. You didn't need to buy further or more alcohol.
Sukela ngesikhathi ke wafika ngaso sokwazi kwayisikhathi wahamba ngaso ingabe waphuza nje yona kwangekho zange kube khona isidingo sokuthi uhambe futhi uyothenga enye.
Kulokho okushoyo ukuthi mhlawumbe emayiphelile ngahamba nobani uyothenga ini. Angeke ngithi mhlawumbe ayothengela mina. Mhlawumbe omnye engahamba uyithengela okwakho kuphuzwa kuyi. Ngeke ngikwazi ukuthi mhlawumbe yathi mayiphela ngasiphi isikhathi sathengani saphuzana.
I wouldn't be able to be in a position to say that when it ended or when it ran out, we then went to buy. And it was not to say that if I had left with someone, that person would have gone to buy it for me.
Now, just to complete that point and move on to another aspect, how sober were you when you observed the alleged incidents of 26 October 2014?
Wawusoba kangakanani ke uma ubona ke isehlakalo noma ke isigameko sange 26 October 2014?
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngoba ngababona bekwazi ukubuya ngabuye ngahamba nabo ngadriver ngabashiya bengalimalanga ngicabanga ukuthi ngangisakhona.
Seeing that I saw them when they came back. I left, I drove with them, I dropped them, so I think that I was still able.
Now, in your evidence in chief, amongst the police officers that you interacted with regarding this matter, you talked about Warrant Officer Makubo, correct?
Ushilo ke izolo ufakazi zakhe ukuthi kumaphoyisa ke owakhulumisana nawo mayelana nodaba lolu ushilo igama lakhe Warrant Officer Makubo.
Yebo?
Yes.
And if I understood your evidence correctly, is that having done your own investigations, you then came to the conclusions that the accused persons that are before court are somehow involved in this case, correct?
Ushilo ke nokuthi uthe uma usuzenzele olwakho uphenyo wabusuthola ke ukuthi abasolwa ke laba abaphambi kwalenkantolo ukuthi ke ngandlela ethize ke ukuthi baya mbandakanyeka ke kulesehlakalo lesalecala lelo phambi kwenkantolo.
Ngifisa ukwazi ukuthi might investigation ingizenzele yona noma yenziwe istate.
Just wish to understand when you say my investigation that I did or that was done by the state.
That's what I wanted to understand from you, because in your evidence in chief towards the end yesterday, you were asked two aspects by my learned friend, Mr. Baloni. And I want you to clarify for me, because remember, we are writing as you are speaking, so sometimes we miss things. So I don't want to put wrong things to you. So that's why I say clarify for me.
Ebengifuna ukuzwa kuwena ke ngoba ke izolo la egcineni ke kwizinto okuyibuzwa uyena ke umshushisi ngesinye isikhathi siyabhala ke ngesikhathi wena usakhuluma ezinye izinto ke singayitholi kahle ke ingakho bengithi ngicela wena ke ungichazele
ngochazela ukuthi uMakhubo ngazenzela mina investigation or yenziwa warrant officer Makhubo.
That I did the investigation or it was done by Makhubo.
Let me put this to you, these two questions that I say. Perhaps I heard from my learned colleague, Mr. Baloyi, then you gave answers to so that we can be on the same page. I think Mr. Baloyi asked this, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong. He asked you whether you met Colonel Gininda in Aviator Kempton Park, correct?
That's correct.
Yebo kuyiqiniso ukuthi ngibuzileke ukuthi ngahlangana noKenneth noGininda eAviator eKempton Park.
In fact, now, respect to him, he's a brigadier, but I've always known him as a colonel. And then he asked you, Colonel Gininda, in the presence of General Tony, what do you know about this matter? And if I'm wrong, you correct me. Your response to that was that there's nothing that you can say about the matter. Am I right?
Wasekubuza ke uKenneth ngiyamazi ukuthi ubrigadier kodwa ke sonke isikhathi ngimazi uKenneth. Wasekubuza ke na uKenneth Gininda ukuthi ekubuza ekhona uKenneth Tony ukuthi wazini ngalolu daba wabusuthi wena ke awazi lutho.
Ngicabanga ukuthi uthatha ama notes ngendlela wrong.
I think you took your notes in the wrong way.
Ngithe uKenneth Gininda ukuthi wazi uzongibuza ingoba wayese referwe uGeneral yini.
I said that the reason what led Kenneth Gininda to come and ask me questions is because he was referred to by the general. Yebo.
uKenneth Gininda ngamtshela lokho ayakafika ngibuza khona okumayelana nabasolo.
I then told Kenneth Gininda that which he asked me regarding the suspects.
Okay. So that's your explanation. Let's leave that. Let's leave it there. Now let's come to this interaction with Makhubo, warrant officer, in the presence of General Leshabane. You remember that interaction?
Ngiyakhumbula ke ukukhulumisana noMakhubo ekhona uGeneral Leshabane.
Yebo.
Yes.
And prior to that, you said also present was General Shadrack Sibiya, but I'm not sure whether when Makhubo was there, Sibiya was also present. Clarify that for me.
Ukhulumile ke nangaye uGeneral Sibiya angazi noma ngathi ukhuluma ngoGeneral Sibiya nokuthi uMakhubo naye wayekhona yini lapho.
Yebo wayekhona.
Yes, Makhubo was there.
Okay. Now you are asked by Leshabane to say, repeat the info that you have given to me to warrant officer Makhubo so that he can hear it firsthand, correct?
So uthi ke wase uGeneral Leshabane ethi kuwena ke ngicela uphinde lokhu ongitshele kona ke ekhona uwarrant officer Makhubo ukuze ayizwele.
Wakusho uGeneral Leshabane.
Is that what General Leshabane said?
Who informed you to repeat what you had told Sibiya and Leshabane to repeat it to Makhubo?
Kwakubani owayecela noma ekutshela ukuthi uphinde lokho owakusho kuSibiya kanye noLeshabane ngathi sekukhona uMakhubo.
uGeneral Leshabane
General
explainela uwarrant officer Makhubo.
General Leshabane explained to warrant officer Makhubo.
Okay. And after that explanation was proffered to Makhubo, what did he say about that information that you had just given them?
Wase ethini ke uMakhubo emuva kokuthi ese explainelweke uyena uGeneral Leshabane.
Mangikhumbule kahle angazi noma just say izolo singakhulumi ngehearsay evidence suka kubantu eyami noMakhubo. Kodwa
yesterday it was said by the court that we shouldn't refer to hearsay that was coming from myself and Makhubo, but
No, just wait what the law says. If counsel asks you a question which borders on hearsay, or for you to answer it requires hearsay, you are entitled to answer it. You are aware of that. And that hearsay is admissible.
Uma ubuzwa ucounseling ke ngokomthetho ke uvumelekileke ukuthi uphenduleke lokho.
Okay. Umbuzo ubuthi Ngawuphendela umbuzo.
wase ethini uma angithi uthe uLishabane wam-explainela emuva kokuthi uLishabane sem-explaineke kunempendulo eyabuya kuMakhubo yathini leyo mpendulo emuva kokuthola i-explanation kuLishabane?
Warrant officer Makhubo wakuchitha leyo information wathi akusiyona.
He disputed that and said that information is not correct.
Now let's go back to the information that you gave that Makhubo dismissed out of hand. What information pertaining to this case did you give?
Yiphi ke leyo information ayichitha wathi akusiyona?
Eyokuthi abasolwa umsolwa number 5 okunkani wayengekho lapho wayekade eboshwe uye.
That accused number 5 was not there. He had been arrested by Makhubo
Yeah.
by him.
And what about the other remaining suspects that are here? What did he say?
Wathini ngabanye laba abakhona?
Ngicabanga ukuthi wayekhuluma mhlambe ngesuspect ayiyazi ukuthi iboshwe uye kwi-previous case. Hayi abanye engabazi. Ngicabanga ukuthi wayekhuluma ngokuthi yena uyamazi unkani waboshwa uye.
I think he was referring to the suspect that was arrested by him, not the other suspects, because he knows Nkani, that Nkani was arrested by him.
Thank you.
In a previous case.
Yes.
Yeah, at that. Because the impression
In the
now is
previous
that Makhubo arrested him for this very case.
Oh, in the previous case?
Yes, very important.
And what was the reason for Makhubo to dismiss that information outright? What did he say to you was his reason to dismiss that information?
Kwakuyini isizathu esanikezwa uyena uMakhubo sokuthi achithe lokho?
Ngicabanga ukuthi mhlambe i-evidence ayinayo kulokho naye kholelwa yikho wayekholelwa ukuthi u-accused number 5 uboshwe uye shuthi uye waziyo ngo-accused number 5.
I think the information that he had, or that he was referring to, that accused number 5 had been arrested by him. He knows about accused number 5.
I didn't intend to do this, but I'm going to now have to refer you to your statements that you made on the 31st of May 2023, a few weeks ago. I've got a handwritten one, but it's written by, I know this handwriting proper.
What's the statement number?
It's A245. It's a typed out statement. Do you have that document in front of you? My Lord, my Lord, the document in front of me has got 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 pages, includes, and the 10th page is the commissioning page, and it's comprised of typewritten content, 21 paragraphs, my Lord. I just want to refer him to this particular aspect only. So, my family so in mind, my Lord. I'm not sure whether it's prudent that I put all 21 paragraphs if I need to refer.
Yeah, you have to.
All 21?
Yeah, state versus Mafaladiso.
Yes.
Right, you have to, because the court has got to understand the context.
Yes.
How if you choose one paragraph?
I will do so, my Lord. The statement reads, I, the undersigned, Sorry. I nearly failed to qualify the statement. Now, the document in front of you, if you look at the last page of the document, because the ones that we have, we don't have the initials at the back because there's a powered by a cab scanner that's obliterated your initials and everything. So the document that you have in front of you, do you recognize it?
The document yes.
Yebo.
Yes.
Where was this document made?
Yenzelwa kuphi?
Number 9 Beatrix Avenue, Russell Centurion.
Number 9 Beatrix Avenue, Russell Centurion.
And who was the taker of that statement?
Sasithathwa ubani?
Ngicabanga ukuthi uBrigadier Gilinda.
I think Brigadier Gininda.
And when you sat with Brigadier Gininda to take that statement, was he in the company of somebody else or was it just the two of you?
Nkathi ke Brigadier Gininda esithatha kona ke le statement kwakuyena kuphela noma kunomuntu ayehamba naye ngalelo langa lelo?
Ngicabanga ukuthi wayenomunye asebenzisana naye.
I think he was sorry.
Sergeant Mohale.
I think he was with a colleague, Sergeant Mohale.
And when the statement was made, you were interviewed for the purposes of making this statement. What language was used?
Uluphi ulimi enani khulumisana ngalo?
isiZulu.
Isizulu.
And obviously, for obvious reasons, I take that he also spoke Zulu, so you understood each other.
Ukusho ukuthi nanizwana naye kulizulu nizwana.
Yebo.
Yes.
And after making this statement and the contents of that be reduced to writing, was it read back to you?
Emuva kokuthi ke istatement lesi ke sesenzile ngamagama esebhale phansi ke ngabe wathi uma seqedile ke wakufundela lokhu akubhaliwe.
Ukucacisa kulokho istatement ngazenzela mina kodwa ngangisenze ngesandla sasingatypiwe.
To explain to that, I reduced the statement to writing myself with my own handwriting, but it wasn't typed.
Okay. And your handwritten statement, once you were satisfied with the contents thereof, you then initialed all the pages and signed the signing page and had it commissioned by a commissioner of oaths, correct?
Umusuqedile ke wa initial noma wa sign ke emuva kokuthi ke emuva kwalokho sasesicommissioner ke.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you are satisfied that the document in front of you, you confirm that it's your statement?
Nelisekile ke ukuthi lesi siphambi kwakho isona istatement sakho.
Yebo.
Yes.
Thank you, my lord. I mean, that as the court places. The statement reads, I, the undersigned, Sizwe Skumbuzo Zungu, with ID, I'll leave it out, 37 years old, state under oath that I reside at, I'll leave the address for security reasons and your cell numbers, and you are employed as a constable at the South African Police Service in Sabenza Police Station. Paragraph 2, on Sunday 2014, 10:26 at 7:30, I received a call from my nephew, Gwabeni, whose real name is Sfiso Zungu. He told me to come visit him at Phosphorus Basotho Hostel where he was residing. He also told me that our homeboys will be coming to visit as well, the likes of Muzikao Kulelwa Sibia, who is related to Gwabeni, and Nkani Fiso Zungu Ntuli Mafika, whose real name is Bongani Gwabini. Bongani Ntanzi, who is my cousin and is also related to Gwabini, Mtokozisima Pisa, and Nkani, whose real name is Fiso Kuhle Zungu Ntuli, and others who are from Opiswene, Nongoma, KwaZulu Natal. He said they will be excited to see me. I told him that I'll be starting at my workplace in Tembisa Police Station. Thereafter, I will come through. Paragraph 3, I received a call from him again at about 10 a.m. He asked me to pick up my nephew, Makosonge, in Johannesburg. He also sent me Makosonke's cell numbers, which I'm not going to read on record. At about 1 p.m., I left the police station and went to pick up Makosonke in Johannesburg. I was communicating with him telephonically using my above cell number until I picked him up at Carlton Center. Then we proceeded to Hostel. Upon our arrival, we found Gwabini and other boys from Nongoma, whom I know because we all grew up from the same area. However, some of them I have not seen for decades. Gwabini did the introduction as we were all grown up, and we could not recognize each other. He introduced Carlos, who is known to me as Gada, whose real name is Mtobisi Ngube, and also referred to him as a Buthelezi boy. Nkani Sfisokuhle Zunguntuli Mafika Bongani Ntanzi Mthokoziseni Mapisa. I did not need an introduction on Musicaulela Sbia. Carlos, also known as Gada, whose real name is Mtobisi Ngube, and we refer to him at times as Buthelezi boy, and Sinako Sibia, because I'm used to them and we see each other more often. We all ate and drank alcohol. I was specifically drinking Jameson whiskey. Others were also sharing the same bottle with me, and others were drinking other kind of alcohol drinks. We were dancing and singing. I was mixing the whiskey with Indian tonic water as well as ice. It's supposed to be cubes, it's cubes, without counting the ice blocks. I did not order any other alcohol or consume any other different one. I also recall that Muzi's father was around as well, and his names are normally Sibia. Paragraph 4. At about 3 p.m., Sinako Sibia approached me and told me that Nkani Sifiso Kutlentuli Zunguntuli is stating that I removed my vehicle because he wanted to go out as I had parked behind his vehicle and blocked his exit. I was driving a state unmarked vehicle, VW Polo, and Nkani was driving a silver gray hatchback Volkswagen Polo. I then went outside and removed the vehicle out of his way, and he left, but I later came back. I then took my bag out of the vehicle as it contained my firearm, and I also put the vehicle key inside the bag. I gave the bag to Gwabini for safekeeping in his room. He locked my bag inside his bedroom as well as Makosonke's bag. We continued to sit together and have a good time, and other males and females joined in. People were just going in and out, including the above mentioned guys. I also at some point went out to the shops to buy some alcohol drinks with a certain lady and came back into Gwabini's house. Paragraph 5. Around 9 p.m. on the very same day, I noticed Muzi Sibia Mafika, in brackets, Sandiso Ntanzi, Nkani Sfisokutle Zunguntuli, walking after each other to Gwabini's bedroom, coming from outside. I stood up and followed them as I was suspicious of the manner in which they entered the house. I could see there was something wrong. I found Gwabini in the bedroom. As I was approaching them, the bedroom, I could hear Gwabini saying, "There comes Babomngani," and somebody switched off the light. I saw Muzi giving Gwabini a .38 special firearm and Nkani giving Gwabini a 9mm firearm. I asked them why are they having firearms on their hands and asked them where they were coming from. No one responded. I then took the .38 special firearm from Gwabeni's hand and looked at it. I asked Gwabeni if it was not the same firearm which he said he threw away in the river after shooting Snako with it. He said it was not the same firearm, but the firearm belonged to Nkani. I then gave him back the firearm. I asked that Gwabeni give me my firearm. He reached for my bag and gave it to me. I took it and checked it, removed the magazine, and counted my bullets. And I found that they were still the same, and I left them.
SI.
Sorry?
SI.
Oh, SI have left them. Sorry. Thank you. I'm indebted. I was checking if they did not take my firearm and use it somewhere. I also smelled it, but I could not pick up anything. I was concerned if they took my firearm and used it to kill people, because I had knowledge that they are Inkavi and in brackets hitmen. I was shouting and I told them if they had done something, it shall be revealed one day. I put my firearm on my body. Mafika walked out of the bedroom. Tokozi said Mapisa and Carlos Mutobisi Nube walked into the bedroom and sat on the bed. Gwabeni asked me to give them space as he wanted to discuss something with these guys, that is Carlos, Mapisa, Muzi, and Nkani. I then took my bag and walked out and sat on the lounge and noticed Mafika changing a black hoodie top he was wearing with a gray hoodie top. I asked him to give me one hoodie, as it seems he has many hoodie tops. Mafika walked back to Gwabeni's bedroom to join the others. I did not follow him or hear what they discussed. Paragraph 6. After their meeting, I do recall Muzi approached me and asked for a lift. After a few minutes, Gwabeni asked a lift for Muzi, and I asked where Muzi was staying, and he said just outside the hostel. Muzi drew everyone's attention and asked if we have heard that Senzo Meyiwa has died. He was asking loudly as if he was making an announcement. He looked very proud and very excited about the announcement. I commented that he was talking nonsense and that what he was saying was not true, as no one had knowledge of such. There was no media announcements on this, so I did not believe him. There was nothing on the news about his utterances. I told Muzi that I was leaving, and he asked for a lift, and everyone else left, including Mapisa, Nkani, Carlos, and Mafika. I also checked Makosonke, but I could not see him. Gwabeni came to tell me that Makosonke will be sleeping over at his girlfriend's place. I then left to the vehicle with Muzi, and when I reached for the vehicle key inside my bag, I could not find it. I then went back to Gwabeni and found him in the bedroom and asked him where my vehicle key was. We looked everywhere in the bedroom and I could not find it. He said he was calling the guys. He then called and said that others are not picking up and some phones are on voicemail. He eventually thought to Nkani.
Got.
Eh?
Eventually got.
Oh, sorry. He eventually got through to Nkani and asked about the key. Nkani said he will also phone and check the guys. Gwabeni told me that they are coming and bringing the key. My Lord, with respect to what we discussed, can I squat perhaps and have my sip of water?
You want to sit down?
Yes.
No ways.
Because
I know there are counsels who have disabilities.
yes.
You don't have a disability.
No, no, not to read and sit down. I just want to have a sip with respect to what they said in
You want to
chambers.
have a what?
With respect to the DJP saying drinking water in court and whatever from a bottle. So I need to have a sip. Sorry?
I don't reach people.
Okay.
You can drink the water.
Thank you, my lord. I mean, that's it. After a few minutes, that's paragraph 7, I'm sorry. After a few minutes, Mthokozisi Mapisa came and gave me back the vehicle key. He apologized and left. I still don't know when, how, and why my key taken out of the bag. I left with Muzi, Mtogo, and the other guy I don't know. I dropped off Muzi along the road just outside Gwaveni's place and not far from where I dropped off Muzi. The other guys alighted. I dropped off Mtogo at engine fuel station at Modderfontein. I then went home. Paragraph 8. On Tuesday, 2014, 10/28, I saw an article on one of the newspaper about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. I also noticed that the sketch of one of the suspects fitted the description of Mafika, in brackets, Bongani Ntanzi, and that he was wearing a black hoodie top, and that the other suspect had dreadlocks, which resembles that of Carlos Gardan Nube. I then started to be suspicious for the fact that on the day they were carrying firearms and fitted the description of the suspects mentioned, and also that Mafika, in brackets, Bongani Ntanzi, was wearing a black hoodie top. I then heard in the media that one of the suspects was arrested. I withdrew my suspicion and I didn't do any follow-up. I later heard again in the media that the suspect who was arrested was actually not the correct suspect, and he was later released. I then had the interest to know who was the arrested guy. I saw his photo on social media platform. I then realized that the suspect that was arrested could not be the correct suspect, as I did not see him mingling him, Carlos Mapisa Mthokozisi Muzi Mafika, on the 26th of October 2014. Paragraph 9. I got hold of the cell phone numbers of General Leshabane, who was then the head of detectives in Gauteng. I called and informed him that I have information about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. He said we should meet at Tembisa police station. He arrived driving a brown Mercedes-Benz SUV. I shared with him all the above mentioned information and my knowledge about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. He said we will do follow-up investigation. After 3 weeks, he called me to say the information I gave him is positive, but he want to further task the detectives to further follow it up. He informed me that he had discovered something on the suspect that is in Rustenburg. He said he will inform the Minister Bekikele and the then National Commissioner General Ketlasi Tole. He then asked me about the other suspects. I told him that one of the suspects stays around Tembisa and that he was dealing in drugs. After a few weeks, he called again to ask I assist him with the information of the whereabouts of Muzi Sibia as well as his picture. I provided the general with the requested pictures, but included those of Mafika Ntanzi. I did give him the full information about Muzi and where he could be found, as well as that of Mafika Ntanzi. He said he will pursue the information and update me about the outcome of the investigation. I later learned from the general that they managed to arrest Muzi for dealing in drugs, and he questioned him about the case of Senzo Meyiwa. He told me that Muzi disputed information, but he implicated his uncle, who is a well-known general, who is well known to the general. I know that Muzi's uncle was known as Butle Spiva Ntuli, and I know that he was killed few years ago. The general was at that stage no longer the head of detectives in Gauteng, but he was the cluster commander in Tembisa. Paragraph 10. Few weeks later, Muzi Sibia was arrested on drugs related charges. I was then phoned by Butle Spiva Ntuli after his release from police custody. Butle said that he urgently wanted to see me. We agreed to meet at the Tembisa Plaza. After a few minutes, he phoned and informed me that he has arrived, but I told him I'm at the Tembisa police station, and he advised me to meet him there. He arrived in a brown Polo sedan at the police station with Mafika Bongani Ntanzi and 4 unknown males. He alighted from the vehicle and I asked that I help him with 2 illegal firearms. I was shocked with his request, as I've never done such activity with him. I then suspected that they came to identify me in order to kill me with regard to the information I gave to General Leshabane about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. I know that Butle Spiva Ntuli was a well-known taxi killing hitman in brackets in Kabi. In 2019, my sister was getting married customarily in Nongoma. Muzi was also present, as is from the neighborhood. He is also a relative to my nephew Gwabeni, and Gwabeni is my nephew. Muzi told me about this arrest of dealing in drugs in Tembisa, and he did not deny that he was dealing in drugs. However, he said he was questioned about the suspicion that he was involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. I responded to say that I also heard that he is involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. He did not deny, but he said the Senzo Meyiwa matter is a complex and sensitive, and he suggested that we speak about it at a different venue and at the later stage, because he was not the only one involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa, and that this was discussed within our families. He said this while Gwabini was approaching, and it was clear that he did not want Gwabini to hear the discussion. Muzi wanted me to assist him in suppressing the case of Senzo Meyiwa and remove his name from it by not mentioning his name anyway. We did not finalize our discussion as Gwabini joined us. What Muzi did not know was that Gwabini was talking to me openly about Muzi's involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. Paragraph 12. Subsequent to this event, I received a call from Muzi. He indicated that from Nongoma he went to Mpumalanga. He wanted us to arrange a follow-up discussion of Senzo Meyiwa murder and how I could assist. We agreed to meet when he is back in Johannesburg. Paragraph 13. The same year, 2019, I received a call from General Lishaban, who asked me to meet him at his cluster office in Kloorkop, Kempton Park. It was possibly Sunday at around 1700 hours when I arrived in his office. I met General Lishabani. He informed me that he did further investigation and followed up on the information Muzi gave him about the involvement of his uncle Butle Spiva Ntuli, who was well known to him. The general told me that he has found that Muzi was directly involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa and that the information he gave was accurate and correct. He informed me that he has invited General Sibia, who is the head of the Hawks in Gauteng, so that he can brief him on this case and see how he will weigh the information and evidence that we have. Indeed, at around 1900 hours, a gentleman arrived who was introduced to me as General Sibia by General Leshabani. General Leshabane briefed General Sibia about the information I gave him, and also that he conducted his investigation and managed to link Muzi and Bongani Ntanzi about their involvement in this case. I was also invited to share the information clearly to General Sibia. General Sibia responded to say, according to his knowledge, the information is correct and accurate. General Sibia asked General Leshabane, who was dealing with this case from the Office of the National Commissioner. General Leshabane said it was Lieutenant Gininda. General Sibia proposed to General Leshabane that Warrant Officer Makubo must be called to come through and listen to the information. However, General Leshabane did not have the cell number of Warrant Officer Makubo. General Sibia gave General Leshabane the cell numbers of Makubo, and he called Makubo. Warrant Officer arrived after 30 minutes. General Leshabane shared the information with him, and Makubo refuted the information and told us that I'm lying and that there is no such information and evidence that link Nkani, that is in brackets Sfisokuhle Zunguntuli. He disputed everything I shared with them and said that I must reveal my source. Warrant Officer Makubu showed us a picture of Nkani and said he arrested Nkani on other matters in KwaZulu-Natal and that Nkani is not involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, as well as the other suspects I have mentioned. He further accused me of coming to them with baseless information. He kept on insisting that I reveal my source and bring him. Upon realizing that he wanted to know where do I get the information and who is my source, I agreed that I will bring the source. The meeting ended with a clear understanding to me that Warrant Officer did not want to take the information I have shared with them. After the meeting, I left with Warrant Officer Makubo to drop me off at Tembisa Police Station and General Sibia and left General Sibia and General Leshabane. Paragraph 14. In the same year, I received a call from a lady who identified herself as Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, who said she was a forensic investigator in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. The officer asked to meet me in relation to the information I gave to Warrant Officer Makubo, and we agreed to meet at McDonald's, Kempton Park. When we met, I realized that she was in the company of Warrant Officer Makubo. She asked me to repeat the information that I have shared with Warrant Officer Makubo, and I did. She further asked me about my relationship to the suspect, which I have explained. She also asked if I'm related and know Kelly Kumalo, and I told her that I do not know her, nor am I related to her, except for seeing her on social media platforms. Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi accused me and General Leshabane of trying to protect Kelly Kumalo and shift the blame to the suspects I was mentioning. She told me that she has evidence that implicate Kelly in the murder and that the shooter was one of those who were in the house. I disagreed with her based on the information I had, and our discussions ended with no fruitful outcome. Paragraph 15. In the same year, 2019, I went to Tolcom Towers at SAPS head office where I met with Brigadier Gininda, then a colonel. I shared with him the information and the knowledge I heard about the suspects involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Brigadier promised me that he will follow up the information and do the investigation. On the 11th of November 2019, I received a call from General Leshabane on my cell number, which I'm not going to read, and he informed me that Brigadier Gininda, then Colonel from the National Commissioner's Office, wanted to see me on the following day, that is the 12th of November 2019, and I have agreed. On the following day, I went to the Tembisa Cluster's Commander's Office, General Leshabane's office. I found the General and he phoned Brigadier Gininda, but Brigadier told him that he will not make it to the meeting and asked that the meeting be rolled over to the following day on the 13th November 2019, and he said the meeting place must be at Kempton Park. After speaking on the phone with Brigadier Gininda, he asked me after speaking on the phone with Brigadier Gininda, he asked me how did Brigadier Gininda came to know about the information of the murder of Meyiwa, and I told him that I'm the one who shared the information with the Brigadier. He asked me to not further share the information with him, as he wanted the Brigadier to hit the brick wall and not get the information. On the 13th of November 2019, I met with the Brigadier at Kempton Park. He was in the company of Brigadier Tony, who he said he identified as his colleague. In that meeting, I was interviewed further by the two officers in relation to the information I gave to Brigadier Gininda. I gave all the information at my disposal because it was clear that officers were doing investigation, who were doing the investigation. On the information, I gave the information. I was also asked to identify one of my parents or senior relative who can confirm my relation with the suspects, as I have indicated that I come from the same area as them. I identify my father as the person who can confirm my relationship with the suspect. Subsequent to the meeting with the two officers, I met General Leshabane, who asked me how did the meeting go. I informed him that I decided to tell the Brigadier all the information I have about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, despite his warning that I should not share the information with the Brigadier. I could see that the General was not happy about my response. Paragraph 17. On the 18th of November 2018, around 07:13, I walked to the Spaza in my area, Tembisa. I noticed silver brown Corolla parked a few minutes away to the place of my residence. I was passing by the vehicle. I saw three occupants, whom one is known to me as Ngazamulo Ntuli, who is related to Muzi Sibia and Ngani Sfisokuhle Ntuli. I managed to see Ngazamulo because he was sitting at the back and the window where he was seated was open. I proceeded to the shop and bought a cigarette. When I walked back from the shop, as I was passing by the same vehicle, Ngazamulo extended his hand holding a firearm and pointed it toward my direction. The firearm was a pistol, black in color. I could see he was trying to aim and shoot at me, and I started to run away towards the direction of the shop and jumped into people's yard until I got home. I was not in possession of my service pistol. I went home and took my pistol. When I went out to confront them, the vehicle was no longer there. I then phoned General Shaban and reported this incident to him. I further informed the General that I suspect that the information I shared about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa could have leaked from his side, because I know that the suspects who came to shoot me are known to him. and they know each other. General asked me if I have opened the case, and I said no. He offered that he will send the vehicle to pick me up and take to his cluster office. I informed the general that I will make means to get to his office on my own. The reason I said that is because I was wary of the involvement in the incident that took place. I then phoned Gwabini Sfiso Zungu. Gwabini, who I know is a relative to all these suspects, including Muzi Sibia. I informed Gwabini of the incident which has just taken place to alert him, as I suspected that they wanted to kill me because I was busy sharing the information with the police about the suspects who are involved in the Senzo Meyiwa, in the murder of Meyiwa, and wanted Gwabini to watch his back as he also had information and knowledge about the case. Paragraph 19. We arranged to meet with Gwabini on the very same day at Jamestown so that we could discuss the matter in person. We met in Jamestown as arranged. Gwabini then called Nkazamulo in my presence and inquired why they were attempting to shoot me. Nkazamulo denied that he had attempted to shoot me, but I maintained my position that I know him very well and I know what I saw him doing. We called Muzi and informed him that his relatives are trying to kill me for the case of Senzo Meyiwa, where he is suspected to have been involved. Prior to this call, Gwabini informed me that the right person to call was Muzi because he was very stressed and panicking that I'm giving out information about the involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. Muzi acknowledged that he is aware that his relatives wanted to kill me because they also believed that I was selling them out to the police for their involvement in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. He further said that he will not speak to them and he further said that he will speak to them and tell them to stop what they were trying to do to me immediately, but insisted that I should meet with him and discuss this matter and avoid future incidents of this nature. Muzi also said Gwabini must give me his current cell numbers as we called him, using Gwabini's cell number, and placed him on a speaker. Gwabini gave me Muzi's current cell number at that time. Later the same day, I phoned Muzi and he confirmed that he did speak to his relatives that they will stop trying to kill me. And he further insisted that we should meet, but we never met until he was arrested for the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. I was also told by Gwabini that Muzi's father is grateful that I'm willing to meet his son and resolve the Senzo Meyiwa case instead of getting his son arrested. Paragraph 20. I thereafter proceeded to General Leshwabani's office where I met him and reiterated the incident of that morning. The general asked if I have informed Brigadier Gininda, and I said yes. He then said he will speak to the uncle of the suspect in order to stop this attempt. The general further told me that we should stop engaging and discuss about the Senzo Meyiwa case and that we should leave it to the national head office. I can recall that Gwabini's cell number is Warawara. I'm not going to read it. Paragraph 21. I can also confirm that Carlos Mngube had dreadlocks and gold tooth insection on the upper part of his teeth. On the day of the killing of Senzo Meyiwa, he is also appearing on A94 in the following photo numbers from 10 to 17. On page 17, he appears with Nkani Sfiso Butlentuli. He also appears on photo 22 to 24 and 31, 34 to 35, 46 to 48 in the police docket marked Fosloras Cas 63610 of 24. Section A, Volume 4, Mtokozisini Mapisa also appear in photos 7, 170, 17, 23. I can also confirm that the sketch that I saw back in 2014 of Bongani Ntanzi is the same as I saw in Fosloras Case 636-1024, Section A, Volume 3, A 154, page 2, and in brackets 8 of 8, and paragraph 22. I know and understand the contents of the statement. I have no objection to taking this prescribed oath. I know the prescribed I consider the prescribed oath to be binding on my oath, and it is duly certified and signed by the Commission of Oaths. My Lord, I'm being told that it's 1 o'clock, my
Oh,
Lord.
yeah. So, 6. When are we returning? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Okay, donation 2.
But I would not write in detail as to what it is that I would have spoken with that person.
But what is important for this court, those notes were compiled by you from your own knowledge. You didn't have to talk to Ratam Kwatleng and say, Kumbula, everything, Kumala, in your head.
Yes.
That information on the notes, as we are writing them, nobody assisted you with the truth.
Yes. The truth ukuthi angimnikeza ngamuntu justice statement for so long. So ingakho mhlambe kube khona mase bethatha statement kuba khona lo magama phamba nayo.
The truth, my lord, that I didn't give a statement to someone for so long. Now that's maybe why those names were then confused.
Ngoba according to investigation, my justice give me bebe njengokuthi umuzi kakhulelwa sibiya ngizokwenza accuse number 1. Give me tax card ngikhumbula ukuthi umuzi kayikhulelwa ubani kodwa bengithi umuzi. So ngicabanga ukuthi kube ile mistake yabo mabe time.
The other thing, my lord, is, let's say I speak about accused number 1. To me, it was always Muzi. So it would then take time for me to then comprehend, as to who Muzi Kayikulelwa is.
Mr. Maloi, what's your view?
As a court, please, my lord, I'm of the firm view that the statement is before court, that cross-examination should occur on the statement as it is. I think there will be no purpose in presenting notes that were used to prepare the statement.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Nisi, please. I rule that the statement is admissible in the sense that the author of the statement is before us.
Yes, madam.
And the author of the statement says he wasn't assisted to make that statement.
Yes, madam.
He made the notes and they were incorporated into this statement. Right?
Yes, madam.
Of course, he says there were 2 or 3 or 5 mistakes regarding the names,
Yes.
not the contents of the statement itself.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so you can continue.
I'm going to demonstrate, madam.
Okay,
Very briefly.
okay.
That what this witness is just trying to explain in his quest to try and justify this contradiction in the statement. He's just being economical with the truth and very disingenuous with the court, madam. In the very same paragraph, this is what I'm going to say, madam. Because in the very same paragraph, he said, I saw Moses giving Kwabeni a point.
3-8.
Yes, a 38 special firearm and Nkani
Yes.
giving Kwabeni a 9mm firearm. It still doesn't say accused number 3 was involved. Then further on down the line, he's saying Mthokoziseni Mapisa and Carlos Mthokozimncube walk into the room and sat on the bedroom. Were those still mistakes that he could not identify when he was reading the statement after it has been typed? And now the question is, if he saw those mistakes, why did he not go back to the typer and say, or the person that was taking the notes and say, no, here you have made a mistake. And the statement has been read to him on behalf of accused number, I'm sorry, madam, on behalf of accused number 1 and 2, as is here. It does not even say, no, I note that there's a mistake with regard to the naming of the people in that statement. I want that to be corrected, madam.
Elinye ke iphutha akhombayo ke ummeli lana ilana ithi khona ke ngase ngibona umuzi enikeza uGwabeni i.38 special unkani enikeza uGwabeni i9mm i9mm bese uhlake uthi ngase ngibona ke umthokoziseni Maphisa kanye noCarlos Mthobisi Mncube base bengena ke ekamereni bayohlala embhedeni manje ukuthi meqhubeka ke ummeli ukuthi ufuna ukuthi nala amaphutha awuzange wabone ukuthi ke lo muntu owayetype istatement umtshela ukuthi akusilona nje kuphela lapha yana kodwa nalana futhi wenze elinye iphutha.
My justice ingakho ngithi amagama uma bewafaka bebefaka amagama uthi ligama kumele lingene la kodwa lingene komunye njengalo lelishoyo athi u-accused number 4 and number 5 la uthi u-accused number 4 ungene no-accused number 3 kodwa mina ngithi u-accused number 4 ungene no-accused number 5.
My lord, which is then what I said when I said that the names were not placed correctly. Where a name was supposed to be placed or written, a different name would be written. According to this, it says accused number 4 and number 3 came in, but I am saying that it was accused number 4 and accused number 5.
Mr. Mnisi,
Which is the reason why, my lord.
yeah, I hear you.
Yes, my lord, thank you.
Mr. Baloyi, the notes, can we get the notes or it's just a futile exercise?
No, we haven't seen the notes, but I don't see how the notes will be of any assistance. The witness is providing an explanation for the errors. Things for counsel to take up those issues with the witness. I don't see how the notes can be of any assistance.
Just for my further understanding, you say this statement, you signed it where?
When?
Where?
Where? What side the law the statement says?
Centurion.
Centurion, my lord.
In the police station.
The police station.
It's a police headquarters.
Police headquarters.
The statement was typed on the same day and you signed it on the same day.
Sathathwa ngalelo langa was signed ngalelo langa lelo.
Ngesikhathi ngikhuluma shothi bebetype.
As I was speaking, they were typing.
Then ngoba bengiphethe ama-note afana nalawo, maybe I will refer date to this date, then ngizobe sengikhuluma ngaleyo date.
Because I had the notes, my lord, with me, I would then be referring to that specific date.
And when they read it back to you?
They give it back to me on the same day. I read it.
And then what about the confusion of the names? Didn't you tell them that the names are being confused?
No, when I read it at home, that's why I came back and said those names were placed incorrect. Only the names that were placed incorrect.
Only the names.
Base ngifundela ke ekhaya ila ngabona khona ukuthi amagama awabekiwe kwindawo ekuyizona. Mase ngifundele ekhaya amagama kuphela.
Mr. Baloyi, your contention is that this statement should stand.
Yes, indeed, my lord, and that cross-examination should occur
Cross-examination.
on the statement.
Okay, yes, Mr. Ms. You can continue.
As it please the court, my lord.
Yeah. If you want to continue, you can continue.
With the cross-examination.
Yes, yes. The
Even
state
before
says
the-
the statement should stand.
Yes, my
Despite
lord.
the
Yes.
mistakes which the state contends that you can elicit, and the response should be also noted.
But Mr. My colleague, my lord, is not an authority. He can't give an order and say that it's only his
represents the
view. I
state.
think it should come from the court that no, in the circumstances of what has been presented before court, then the court rules that cross-examination should then be proceeded with on the basis of this statement.
Yes. Yes. You can proceed.
As it please the court, my lord.
And then the court will have to decide, as you say.
Excuse me, madam.
And the court will have to decide
Yes.
thereafter, because the state has got the right to withdraw the statement if they want to, but the state is not in the mood to do that. They say they stand by the statement with the explanations. Okay, so proceed.
As it please the court, my lord. My attention has been drawn to the fact that apparently the client
what?
wants to see me, my lord.
Who's that?
That Mr. Mube wants to bring something to my attention.
Mr. Mube?
Yes,
Oh,
may I
so-
request
yeah,
an
fine, fine.
indulgence, my lord? Thank
Yeah,
you.
fine.
I'm afraid, my lord, this argument has got some rippling effects because it has just been brought to my attention by accused, by Mr. Mube, that as he was sitting there and listening to what this witness was saying, is that this witness said that he wrote a statement and then it was commissioned. He never mentioned notes. And then after he wrote that statement, then it was taken for typing. And he's even requesting that if that is still in contention, then we can go to the record just to find out whether what he's telling this court through me is what this witness said.
Now, man, I listen. He wrote the notes. Not under oath.
Under oath.
He wrote the notes. He was giving them to Ginanda. He wrote the notes, yeah. But, sorry, did you write the notes with your own handwriting?
My justice.
Yeah.
Notes. Let's say I made general lecture.
Yeah.
Then I will write whatever that on that day.
With your own handwriting?
Sometimes with my handwriting, maybe I record in my mind. Then when I get home, I just keep on record.
With your own handwriting?
Yes.
Uthi ke awekwenza asithi ke mhlambe ngalelo langa uhlangana noGeneral Shabane. Uzothi ke kule nkulumo yakhe ke noGeneral Shabane ayibhalele nje okunye nje agcina akubambela kena ke emqondweni. Uma sefika ke endlini ke aphinde futhi abhaleke noma akurekhode lokho. Kodwa wayebhala yena ke esebenzisa esakhe isandla.
Okay, that's the evidence I heard.
Yes, I also had the note explanation, my lord, when I actually requested that we should be given the original version of the statement. That's
Okay, you know what?
Yes, my lord.
Are there any other statements or notes which you have?
I will check in my justice. I will provide.
When we adjourn from here, do you go home or do you go where your safety is being secured under the protection witness
I'm going
scheme?
to a safe place.
Hello?
I'm going to a safe place.
Yeah.
Protection.
Are these documents at that
home.
safe place?
No, some of them are there, but
And
some
others?
of them are there, not there. Are at home.
Where is home? Natal, KZN.
Some are at KZN, some are here in Gauteng.
Uthi ke kwindawo ezahlukene ke la agcinwa khona ekhaya hambe eKZN nalana ke eGauteng.
At KZN, who is there?
My
Your
justice.
father? Your father? Is your father there or your mother? Your sister? At KZN?
There's people abasebenza ekhaya because I moved my family due to their safety.
Kunabantu ke there are people who are working there ifamily yami ngayihambisa ngenxa yokuvikeleka kwabo.
Unless kuzoya mina.
So
myself.
Unless I go, man.
the house, or unless you go,
Yes, I'll get some.
when will you return? Mabuhamba. Will you be
I
back?
don't know the financial complication.
The what?
Malindon. Unless the state
financial
provide.
complication, unless the state provides.
So you don't mind being driven down?
Awunandaba ukuthi bangakuhambisa bakusi.
Yeah,
You don't mind?
I don't mind.
Will you be having security driving you down? Mr. Baloi? Does this I fear for this gentleman's life.
Yes.
Because we've got evidence here that there was an attempt to murder him. You see, people keep on saying to kill him. The difference between killing and murdering. So, does he have sufficient protection to be
Indeed.
driven down? Because there are people here in court.
Yes.
I don't know. They are listening.
Yes, yes.
I don't know. No, but we must be realistic for this case.
Indeed. In fact, today security has even been enhanced.
The what?
The security around him has been enhanced as a result of the incident that we showed this morning.
Yeah, like you see, there were the threats.
Yes.
When I saw those things.
So he's
So there's a real possibility that the safety of this witness is being compromised. Magapumala. And it goes not to a safe house, it goes to their home. Because there are cell phones, can be phoned, that, oh, he's coming home. Are you with me?
yes, indeed.
These are practical things.
Yes, indeed.
Practical things. Serious. So where are these security guys so that we see? Are they in court? Outside?
I think they're outside.
Can you make arrangements?
I'm sure arrangements can be made, my lord.
So that this witness must be given the opportunity to go home, to retrieve all those notes, and he must also go to the safe house on Monday. Is it possible on Monday we'll have those documentation?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm sure arrangements can be made, my lord.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Nisi will postpone this case, and we hope this witness will still be alive on Monday. How much is it?
I will pray.
Yeah?
I will pray.
You'll pray.
I'm not well. There are car accidents as well, my lord.
No?
I will not put my head on the block for that.
Yeah, you're right. Haven't you had a guy being murdered by a moving car? I'm
My
sure.
lord.
Yes, then it becomes an accident. But the latter will be dead.
I always knew those as reckless
What?
and negligent driving, my lord. It could be
What?
a bus that will be heading to Zimbabwe that veers
Yeah,
off the
it's
road
possible,
and
you're
then
right.
hits him and then
Okay.
it's gone. As it please the court.
But you know what? In the meantime, all counsels, I want you to address me on the admissibility of this statement, having regards to the fact that it is being added to by the evidence, the viva voce evidence of this witness. Can you prepare an argument, all of you? I'm going to prepare one.
Let us get the directive properly, my lord. The court is asking us to...
The legality, the lawfulness of the additional statements he makes in court to be taken and incorporated into his statement, and the mistakes he explains in his statement. I'm aware of the case of State versus Mafaladi, so State
Yes,
versus
ma'am.
Govenda,
Yes.
etc., etc. But I'm just saying, I want you to address me on that exigence on Monday, if you are able to. If you are not, Tuesday or Wednesday.
As it please the court, my lord.
Mr. Baloyi?
Thank you.
Please, Mr. Lord.
Okay, it's fine. Then we adjourn. On that note, Monday.
This must